We're here on King Spotlight with Monarch football coach Jeff Narr. Coach, thank you again for being with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Coach, this week your Monarchs head down to Doylestown for a night game at Delaware Valley College. But before we talk about that game, let's just review last week's victory against Fairleigh Dickinson-Florham. Your Monarchs came away with a game that was interesting. It was an exciting but yet error-filled in some ways 35-28 victory. Your team made a lot of mistakes, but overcame that and showed a lot of character to come back and get that victory.
Yeah, we did. We kind of put ourselves, in the hole. The turnovers led, directly to 21 of their points. But the one thing the kids showed was the resiliency that they've kind of always had, a stick-to-itiveness and great chemistry that no one wavered. And they understand and believe that, hey, until it says all zeros, we play. And then they did a great job of battling back from some adversity. And then found a way to get the win. So, proud of their effort, and they worked hard for it, and we got to clean up the mistakes so they don't put themselves, in those situations again.
You're not a big turnover team normally, but in that particular game there were more turnovers than you'd like. What does the team act like on the sideline when that type of thing happens? Does leadership come from the captains? Does it come from other players?
I think, the Tommy, he realized, he made some bad decisions with the picks and, owned up to it and was talking to the coaches about, what he thought he saw with what was actually there to correct from that deal. And then, the young receivers, the coaches were just trying to tell them, that you're kind of tackled. I mean, you're there. You got, when we throw a ball and we catch it, we're all right with whatever that gain is. We don't ask our receivers to catch for a 4-yard pass and then have to weave their way 8 more yards, to get us 12 yards. We'll call something to get us 12. So we just talk to them and remind them that when they got you wrapped up, secure the football and then, go down. Don't need to fight for that extra yards. That's just the competitiveness of our kids and trying to, get every yard that they can. And sometimes it's just a learning experience that, hey, they got me. Now I got to make sure that now they want the football, they're going to rip it out. I got to protect the football and not fight for a yard that, we don't really need to get at that point. I'm good with the gain that I have.
But from an emotional standpoint, a team can go south when that kind of stuff happens. You get a couple turnovers, and people think, oh boy, here we go. But your guys do not seem to have any type of an attitude like that at all. They really have some resiliency.
Yeah, they do. And then that's, something we constantly talk to them about as coaches, that, again, it's a 60-minute football game. So, a turnover on the first play, a turnover on the last play, or anywhere in between, each play is a history in itself and can, dictate the outcome of the game and just play. And if you didn't have the success that play, then make sure you're focused and ready to have success on the upcoming play. And then the personality of our kids, our seniors, they have a great personality. They're enthusiastic. They bring a lot of passion, emotion, and they've created good chemistry so that they don't panic and hit the panic button and worry about things. They just kind of go out and play and realize, all right, we're in a little bit of a hole. We got to find a way to get a stop or find a way to move the football. So their personality goes a long way in not dealing with some adverse situations where they just they've got to work through it. And until it says all zeros, we're going to keep playing.
Talk about the defense that game. Your offense was able to move the ball, but there were some turnovers that came at bad times. But the defense really had their backs to the wall in a few situations and really played well that game.
Yeah, we felt our defense, was dominant, for a lot of periods of time there. We 2.6 yards, I think, a rush they had. Their longest run from scrimmage was 12 yards. We only gave up one big play. The 31 yard pass. So they did a lot of really good things. We were able to neutralize their best player, number 12, and then handle the running game. And they put the ball on the turf 3 times by themselves, but we caused 3 fumbles and recovered those 3 fumbles. So our defense was very stout and did a lot of good things, which is great to see.
Well, looking ahead to this week, another big challenge. You're taking on traditional MAC power Delaware Valley College down in Doylestown in a 7 o'clock night game at James Work Stadium. This will be the first time Kings and Del Val have ever played at night. You've already had a night game this year, so talk about the atmosphere that you're going to see down in Doylestown.
I imagine it'll be, some of the atmosphere that we had here. Del Val, since they got in lights, I think the last, this is their second year of trying to have a home night game, and I think they plan other things around it and stuff. So I imagine there'll be a great crowd and a loud and a really just an exciting, atmosphere, which is great for, D3 kids because, they see, these night games in the SEC and the crowds are wild and huge. And, at our level, that's what we're going to, be an experience. To be a loud crowd, a big crowd, a capacity crowd. So it's fun for our kids to be able to play in those type of venues and those types of games. And again, with the personality of our team, they're going to rally around that, embrace it, and be able to enjoy a great night of football.
Well, Delaware Valley has been a strong offensive team in recent years, and this year appears to be no exception based on the stats. They're averaging 408 yards a game. They had over 500 yards against Misericordia last week, and they graduated an excellent quarterback last year, but they brought in what appears to be another top-quality kid named Danny Farley, who was a Division I AA transfer from Rhode Island.
Yeah, he seems to come in and doing a good job and they're relying on the running game a little bit, but he threw the ball when he needed to at Misericordia or when they wanted to. They didn't need to throw it all over the yard in that game. But in the previous two games, he's been effective and efficient. With their athletic receivers and kind of get acclimated to being the guy and playing and got big shoes to fill, but he's doing a pretty good job so far.
Well, you mentioned the Delaware Valley running game. They appear to have three kids who are doing an outstanding job right now and are all a little bit of a different style. They got Robert Cleveland, who's rushed for 146 yards on 33 carries. Armani Fuller, who has 180 yards, and Devontae Ellis, who has 199 yards. Talk about that trio.
Yeah, the Cleveland and Armani, they're like the 5'6", 5'7" guys. They're slashers up, but they run extremely hard. Number 11, is a bigger guy, but all three of them, they run hard with good pad level, and they're always finishing runs, going forward. So they're a tandem or a trio that is hard to contain and very explosive and have big play capability, but will get you the tough yards. So they've had no. They've never had a shortage of running backs, and now they got three of them that they can rotate through and keep them fresh. So our guys got to be up to challenge the stop the run game.
Well, another player you have to worry about is a dual threat player, and that's junior wide receiver Tyler Bing, who has 10 catches, but he also has 122 rushing yards on 11 carries, averaging over 11 yards per carry. So I would imagine they're using him on some jet sweeps and things like that. Yeah,
he comes on the jet sweep, and he's fast, and so he can get to the edge real quick and athletic, and then he does a good thing in the pass game. So again, they're that's why they're a good program, and they take what their players can do and find ways to get them the football. So they're utilizing his very good speed of not just throwing the ball, but put it in his hands and let him run with it. So they do a really good job getting to the edge with those jet sweeps with him.
And another kid they have is the senior tight end James Norton. He has 7 catches for 107 yards, and then another receiver, and Eric Shorter, who has 12 receptions for 152 yards.
Yeah, I think Shorter seems to be maybe one of his favorite targets. He seems to go to him a lot. But the tight ends, they love to get them into the seams and hit them. And he's a big dude. He's 6'3", 225. The tight end, so he's a nice target. And he's athletic enough to get behind people and then find the seams there, and then he can go up and get the football. And he's bigger than the safety, so he can box them out and do some good things. And they've always had pretty good tight ends, and he's one of them. And the quarterback is doing a good job of spreading the ball around to their athletic and then receivers and then a very good tight end.
Well, the team with that kind of athleticism and speed likes to try to get the ball to the edge and utilize their athletic ability. What are going to be the keys for your defense in this game?
The first and foremost is, again, we got to be able to, stop the run. I think they ran the ball 54 times with against Misericordia. So they were having success there, so they could throw it when they want to, do what they want. So if a team's running the football, they have every arsenal and every tool at their disposal. So we can kind of make them have to throw the ball a little bit more maybe than they want to. That'll be a huge success thing for us to win the football game. So our guys have got to do their assignments and be in the right positions to be able to handle the run, because they will pound it at you, but then they get to the edge with their backs, and then they're going to come with the jet sweeps and misdirection. So everyone's got to just do their job on the assignment and be gap responsible to control their run game.
I want to briefly talk about a player on the team who has made quite an improvement over the course of his career, and that's senior defensive end Michael Martina. Mike was a kid pretty much his first 2 years in the program who was really just developing through the ranks. Started about halfway through last season and has done a great job this year. He has 5 quarterback sacks and leads the team with 21 tackles. So talk about what it took for him to get to where he's at right now.
You know, when we recruited Mike, I mean, you saw like potential and that he just needed to put some weight on and some size, and then he could play because he was, could move well and got get off the ball really well on high school film, but he just had to like get a college body, and he worked hard for 2 years in the weight room, and you saw flashes of it in practice and in the JV games. Then his junior year, it's his opportunity to get on the field and see what he does. And in the Moravian game, he did some really good things of just coming off the edge, with great speed and tenacity, blew up a couple plays in the backfield, and then kind of took off. That gave him some confidence, and then it took off from there where, he's utilized and how to, he's not the biggest guy going, but he's put some weight on and some size and some strength, but he still maintained his speed and explosiveness, and he's learned how to use that to his advantage to be able to beat, bigger guys, get into the backfield. And the thing we like about Mike the best is he has a motor that never stops. A couple times he's out of position, maybe misses something, or a run breaks through, he pursues and tracks the play down. There's numerous times this year, he's made tackles down the field on Saturday. He caused one of the fumbles where the quarterback got around him, but then he didn't quit on the play. He turned around and chased him from behind, and then stripped the ball, and we recovered it. So he's been a playmaker for us, and then he's got a motor, and he plays, from till the whistle sounds from there. So it's been great to see him develop and reach the potential, that we felt he had, and he's had a good junior year, and right now he's having an outstanding senior season.
Well, looking back to Delaware Valley now, you want to check out their defense. The Aggies are only allowing 135.7 rushing yards per game, so they appear to be once again pretty stout against the run. They are allowing, though, 236.7 passing yards. So talk about them first against the run and then the pass.
Yeah, they're very stout with the run. They're playing at 4-3, and they're always going to make sure they get themselves with one guy, more than you have in the box. And that's their first goal is that we're not going to be able to run the ball, against us for a lot of success from there, and they're going to have to throw it. So, they're willing to take the run away and make you throw it, and then they play their coverages where they're keeping everybody kind of underneath you, and they'll let anybody get behind you, and they'll give you like the short throws, the medium throws, and then they come up and then they tackle very well, and they're going to have to make you beat you by moving it in small increments down the field through the air, which is difficult to do.
Well, we do have 2 new running backs this year, as we have talked about previously, and they're both going to get tested this week. We have Gabe Brown, freshman tailback, who's leading the team with 202 yards and had about 85 yards last week. And then we have Zach Funk, who seems to be getting more carries, and he has 82 yards on 15 attempts. So talk about those two going against that Del Val defense.
Yeah, I mean, both of them, are getting great opportunities. They're getting better every week. They run hard. They're lowering their pad levels from that standpoint. So we're going to have to find ways to be able to run the football, and then whether it's in the tackles or get to the edge. So using those two again helps keep those guys fresh. So that, again, we have a fresh running back to be able to run against a stout defense from there. But then they're seeing the holes better and making better cuts. They're lowering their shoulders, being more physical when they run the football, and you see that in practice, and you've seen it each week. So they're just getting better. Those two, and then doing a good job of complementing each other, and we're hoping we see more improvement on Saturday with those two.
Then another player on offense who really seems to be coming into his zone is junior receiver Mike Palmer. Mike really was battling injuries his first 2 years and didn't really have a chance to showcase his ability, but right now, his first year as a starter in his junior season, he's leading the team with 15 catches for 166 yards and 2 scores. So talk about him.
Yeah, I mean, Mike, unfortunately as a freshman, tears his ACL. In preseason camp early on, and misses his whole, freshman season. But again, he's just got that, great, personality. Always has a smile on his face. Just one of the toughest kids going. Worked hard in the rehab with it, sold out on the program and his teammates here, and got himself, back. And last year as a JV guy, has got better each week. And at the end of the year, I mean, he was our go-to guy, our playmaker, at the JV level. And then, the thing is, he has got just tremendous quickness. Which helps him get into his routes, and then he's got good speed from there. But he's more quick than just pure fast, and that quickness, helps him, get by bigger defenders, find seams, and then he's got great hands. He's willing to catch the ball, and he's tough. He's willing to, to pay a price over the middle from there. But again, he can get behind people and make plays, and he's a playmaking guy, and it's great to see him healthy and playing his potential and done a great job so far. And again, getting better every week in our offense.
Well, Coach, that's all the time we have again for this week. So thank you for your time, and good luck to you and the Monarchs when you travel to Doylestown on Saturday to play Delaware Valley College in a 7 p.m. MAC contest. Thanks.
Thank you.